Whenever we are low or lack motivation, we tend to look for people who might be able to bring that spark back in us. Now, if you came here for some motivation, then I must tell you, well, you're in the right place. One such motivation for men, and especially women, around the globe is Tia-Clare Toomey. Now, CrossFit is a relatively new sport. The initial CrossFit Games in 2007 resembled a weekend away for athletes, rather than the televised, sponsorship-filled week that it has evolved into. And as the Games have proceeded over the last 15 years, one athlete has dominated about half of that time: Tia-Clare Toomey. The Australian-born superstar stormed into the sport with a vengeance on her Games debut in 2015, quickly jumping to second place on the podium in her rookie year. It only took her one more second-place result in 2016 to figure out how to top the podium at the 2017 Games. For the next half-dozen years, she held the title of Fittest Woman on Earth. Now, Tia-Clare Toomey was not only the reigning Fittest Woman on Earth for 6 years in a row, but she also exemplified everything that the title should signify. Aside from her physical abilities, the 30-year-old Australian has demonstrated all the competitive fire, gym rat discipline, and polite modesty that one could ask of a successful athlete, especially one who has inspired a small army of ambitious young women. Now, along with her 6 consecutive CrossFit Games victories, Toomey won every major live competition she entered from 2017 to 2022, including the first 3 Rogue Invitationals. Both streaks could have lasted if it hadn't been for a joyous break in the 2023 season when Tia and her husband Shane Orr welcomed their first child Willow on May 9th. Now, it seems like a lifetime ago now, but Tia Toomey's path to becoming the best female CrossFitter of all time began with a pair of heartbreaking runner-up results at the 2015 and 2016 CrossFit Games. While discouraging at the time, her performances left little question that her time would come, as few athletes, male or female, displayed such a comprehensive skill set and persistent work ethic at such a young age. In true Toomey manner, it required some of that determined effort and a nail-biting finish. 994 points to 992 over Kara Webb to finally win her first ever Games title in 2017. Future title defenses, however, grew increasingly dominant. A 64-point lead in 2018 over Laura Horvath, 195 points in 2019 over Kristen Holtby, 360 points in 2020 over Katrin Davidsdottir, and 256 points in 2021 over Horvath. Now, Tia faced the additional hurdles of a larger schedule and a younger, more dangerous group of competitors led by teens Emma Lawson and Mallory O'Brien at the 2022 CrossFit Games. Despite this, Toomey's mix of power, speed, and experience helped her finish in the top 5 in 11 of the week's workouts, giving her a victory margin of 1,158 points over O'Brien's 1,045. She is the only 6-time individual Games champion in CrossFit history. Tia-Clare Toomey has been an inspiration to athletes for a long time. She also represented Australia as a weightlifter at the 2016 Olympics in Rio and the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Queensland. But we may never see another run of consistent dominance quite like hers again. A YouTube video from June 21st, 2022 shows Toomey starting her mornings 1 to 2 times a week on an outdoor track, tearing away at 4.4 miles in 50 minutes. And that's before the afternoons are filled with weightlifting and metcons, ranging from snatches and barbell thrusters to pegboard training. Toomey was still hitting numerous exercises per day a year later, despite her incredible training during her very safe pregnancy. She began her recovery after childbirth in the summer of 2023 by regaining strength, but that didn't imply that she was holding back.
I would say that this is probably the most challenging time because I'm only just starting and I can see how hard it really is.
Toomey filmed a day's worth of training in a video posted to her YouTube page on July 31st, 2023, involving a 4-split strength and conditioning session. Regardless of the season, Toomey emphasizes performing each lift with an empty barbell to verify that her technique is correct before loading it up. She also incorporates a variety of accessory exercises to guarantee that no muscle group falls behind throughout her workouts. But that's not all there is. Let's take a look into her personal life. Tia-Clare Toomey, the eldest of 3 children, was born on July 22, 1993 in Nambour, Queensland, Australia, to Debbie and Brendan Toomey. She grew up in Dunthan Rock on the Sunshine Coast Maroochy River, where her parents worked on a cane farm. She went to North Arm Primary School in Queensland. After the sugarcane mill closed, her family relocated to Weipa when she was just 12 years old. She attended Western Cape College in Weipa before attending Townsville Grammar School in 2009. She attended Queensland University of Technology in Brisbane after graduating from high school in 2011. She departed after 6 months to be with her future husband Shane Orr in Gladstone. She worked as a dental assistant and afterward as a lab technician at a Rio Tinto facility there. Now, while at school, Toomey participated in athletics as a runner. She focused on 400-meter hurdling in Gladstone and was introduced to CrossFit by Shane Orr. She began participating in CrossFit contests in 2013 after joining a CrossFit facility and getting involved in the discipline. Through her CrossFit classes, she discovered the basic principles of weightlifting. CrossFit legend Tia-Clare Toomey Orr faced numerous questions during her pregnancy and postpartum life. She shared the news of her pregnancy on Christmas Eve 2022, sending a shockwave throughout the sport. Toomey Orr took the same pragmatic approach that saw her become a CrossFit champion towards competing again just 5 months after becoming a mother. She gave birth to her baby girl Willow in May and was indeed watching from the sidelines at the CrossFit Games in August. However, she shocked the sport's followers when she announced in September that she would be competing at the Rogue Invitational, a major CrossFit competition, in October. She enjoyed being pregnant and felt comfortable throughout, despite many people telling her to expect the inverse. She stayed active throughout her pregnancy, which people advised to do, while modifying movements and training where necessary to keep her baby safe. After a relatively stress-free pregnancy, however, Willow's birth didn't go the way Toomey Orr had hoped. She was very open-minded to just make the necessary changes to deliver Willow healthy and happy, which meant having a cesarean section. It definitely wasn't easy, she said. Toomey Orr definitely does want more children, but would approach a second birth differently, which is exactly how she felt after her first CrossFit Games. Now, easing back into fitness after giving birth took longer than expected. Toomey Orr's initial focus was just breathing steadily and getting her blood flowing. She moved on to really light weights, and once she had the green light from her doctor, she started to build up the intensity and load. She didn't experience too much ab separation, which affects about 60% of women, but she still had to be careful and not rush into intense core exercises such as snatches, GHD sit-ups, and toes to bars, which can put pressure on C-section scars and strain the muscles, risking injury. Toomey Orr was not back to full strength at Rogue, but she still came second on the podium, despite knowing she wasn't back to her pre-pregnancy fitness. She felt herself mentally, even if not physically, and believed in her abilities. She was proud of how her body held up when she was 5 months out. It was about being smart, but also being eager and pushing the envelope to what was safe. Now, Rogue is a strength-dominant competition, and Toomey Orr had to accept that it wasn't coming back as quickly as she would have liked. Now, according to a recent video on her YouTube channel, Tia-Clare Toomey and Shane Orr, Toomey Orr has a brand new home gym and has started training in full swing for the 2024 CrossFit season, aiming for the #1 spot on the podium. She looks to be in great shape and continues to be an inspiration for athletes around the world. So if you like this motivational video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel before you leave.